Authorities of Kazakhstan, with the help of CSTO peacekeepers, managed to defeat terrorists at the beginning of January. Some fights and tensions still taking place, but in general, government took control of the situation. Obviously, US didn't like that, and as usual, White House expressed concern about Kazakh President Tokayev's order to neutralize terrorists, which means American regime is unhappy that slaughtering of Kazakhs have stopped. As soon as it became clear that terrorists had failed, US diplomatic mission, as a sign of protest, reduced the numbers of its mission in Kazakhstan. Beheaded corpses on the streets, burned buildings, cars, chaos, robbery, these are the showcases what Americans plan to turn the former states of the USSR into. To turn them into something like second Japan or second Germany turned out to be impossible, but to make them Haiti number 2 is incomparably easier. Washington offered them a signature cocktail of Nazi-like nationalism and the latest lethal weapons. That's the party of the 21st century. Once beautiful Almaty, filled with thugs and killers with close ties with Islamists, is only the first stage of the big plan. No one will stop at Kazakhstan. Back in 2019, Rand Corporation, the voice of the US Defense Department, published a very specific plan for overstraining and imbalancing Russia. Everything is clearly spelled out there. First, supply lethal weapons to Ukraine, bomb Belarus, set on fire Central Asia, simultaneously stirring up the South Caucasus, and annexation of Transnistria by Moldova. Red 2's plan to destroy absolutely all enclaves of civilization that still exist on the outskirts of former USSR. Battlefield, this is how the post-Soviet states were named in another report by Rand Corporation. Despite lies of the national outskirt, it was Russia that always brought civilization to those corners of the earth, and today only she is interested in ensuring their safe development. For the West, all these countries is just non-state, just as useful playground in fight with Russia. They hardly find them on the map and cannot even pronounce their names. Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, Tajikistan, and even this forgotten country of Turkmenistan closed off from the whole world. For them, this is no man's land, where the natives kill each other of making more space for American military bases. American interest in bases in Central Asia gained more relevance after a run from Afghanistan, but at least Uzbekistan resolutely refused to host US military. But what if the situation becomes messy? Uzbekistan not yet member of CSTO. If someone suddenly starts cutting heads, as in Kazakhstan, Moscow may simply not have time to come to sort things out. It's time for the elites of Russia's neighbors to understand that there are only 3 global sovereign players in the world, and just 2 of them, Russia and China, are really interested in peace and security on the global level. The goal of the third one, America, is to unleash war all against all, and the closer state is to Russia, the more likely some war will kick in. Of course, these attempts of military invasion will be positioned as peaceful protests of locals, despite the fact that they all will be armed. Countries like Moldova are trying to find salvation in their non-bloc status, neither NATO, neither CSTO, and everything seems to be okay. Nazi-like Russophobia in politics and pro-Western president. But what will Maya Sandu do if the Americans decide to resolve the issue of Transnistria on the territory of her country? After all, if she does not like the bloodshed on the subordinate state, then she will quickly be changed with peaceful protesters with firearms. This is an old and super stupid illusion. We'll be nice and obedient students, we'll do everything as White House says, and then we'll be happy and prosperous ever after. Spoiler, it will never happen. Just check how country's leadership is being changed in South Korea, and you will know all the story of prosperity. Murders, suicides, endless trials, and draconian prison terms. In Seoul, one of the most technologically advanced and progressive cities in the world, entire squares are regularly occupied by endless variety of protesters on the weekends. They protest of a variety of reasons. But South Korea is one of the favorites and most successful offspring of Washington, a real showcase of the American dream. One of the most prosperous countries in the world, no joke. However, leaders are changing there with particular cruelty, and every time there is some sort of mini revolution. Well, Rostov Airport is always open and leaders of states destroyed by Americans will be met and greeted there. Rostov Museum of Modern Art will display busts of former presidents, a piece of jewelry with the portraits and the magnificent works. Local sanatoriums organize a special health recovery program for former leaders, like spa, detox, relaxation. But isn't it better to lead not from exile, but from your own country, under reliable cover of CSTO? There is an opinion that leadership of the post-Soviet states should take better care of the people, raise the economy so there will be no uprisings and stuff like that. Well, poverty needs to be fought. Lower classes must be fed well and provided with education and career possibilities, but this is no way a guarantee of peace and security in the country. Just remember several months of non-stop protests, who nearly paralyzed life of Hong Kong, one of the richest cities in the world. Transport stopped running, small businesses went bankrupt, famous hotels emptied, tourism died, and all because of a mess local students were making for months on the city streets. Or Portland, a quite prosperous city in the United States back in 2020, has turned into a thieves' paradise where anarchy, mother of order, ruled. What? Portland was a city drowned in poverty? Not at all. Actually, it's funny because just the poor American towns avoided the social disaster. Alma-Ata, which is now being cleared of thugs and terrorists, was the most prosperous and beautiful city in Central Asia. Did it help? Not at all. Inequality, unfortunately, is the driver of the entire modern economy. Therefore, it is everywhere. From Mumbai to Chicago, from Rio to Nur-Sultan. It can become a trigger to some mess, but not a real reason of protests. You can back all of your citizens with gold, but if you have 22,000 Western NGOs operating in your country, then foreign-inspired cop and bloodshed is just a matter of time. Some post-Soviet states, once they are in trouble, rely on the ones who are stronger. In this way, Azerbaijan keeps flirting with Turkey's Grand Turan project. However, Erdogan, project's frontman, is not going to be in power forever. The fall of the lira has shaken his position inside the country, and the lasting confrontation with American elites makes it more and more clear Erdogan's game is over. Erdogan will leave, and Azerbaijan will be left alone with the chaos that Americans prepared for the post-Soviet countries. It is time to get rid of the illusions of 90s. Celebration of the American dream is over, but the hangover pain is still there and it feels terrible. Today former hegemon is ready to smash the world just to delay its fall a little bit more. Russia's neighbors are at particular risk today, but our country is ready to help them, protect them from invaders under the flag of freedom and democracy. However, neighbors need to want genuine friendship with Moscow. Russian-speaking population in their countries should feel calm and comfortable. Russian language must maintain its high status. It's a must. To forget the restrictions of Russian schools, fascist-like language patrols, and to deal with local nationals presenting a threat to the local Russian population. This is the only way to avoid falling into chauvinism and preserve the unique civilization that generates of our common ancestors created together. Otherwise, this gigantic common heritage simply cannot be kept. The CSTO is the fruit of the joint work of 6 states. To join its protection, you need to show loyalty, responsibility, and wisdom. Key element that post-Soviet elites often lack, leaning towards short-term financial benefits. You cannot sit simultaneously on 2 chairs for long, especially when the one chair is burning. Russia is a reliable partner, but it takes 2 to dance tango. Neighbors have to show the same reliability and responsibility towards us first, and only then they can count on Russia's help. If you liked the video, be sure to subscribe and ring the bell.